Well, shout out to Best Buy, I guess. Alrighty. Hello, YouTube. It is your boy, Daryl Harris, here with a tier list. Now, when it comes to wrestling, professional wrestling, I just want to say that I'm still mad at myself for for letting people say wrestling is fake and just like letting that ruin my experience from wrestling when it's actually all of the performances that makes wrestling great. And I didn't know that at first because for some reason I thought the Irish Rip was real. But that's just me being a naive little kid. But anyways, when I was watching wrestling, I was watching in the Ruthless Aggression era. Yeah, I was watching in a Ruthless Aggression era, and that was some really top tier wrestling going on when God damn it. It was some top tier wrestling going on when and the Ruthless Aggression era was by far the best wrestling. I know a lot of you old people will say the Attitude Era, and I humbly disagree. But anyways, I got a little tier list going on of all of the superstars from the Ruthless Aggression era. Now, I may not remember every single one of them because it's been damn near 20 years, but we gonna try to rank them. So, first off the bat, we got Shad and JTG from Crime Time. Rest in peace, big boy Shad. And these guys were great. I think the build up to them actually being in the WWE was bigger than the push that they actually got when they was in the WWE. But in terms of just matches, I would just say that they're all right. They did their tag team tandem really well, with Shad being the big diesel that can go up against the Giants, and JTG was more of the athletic person on the team, but in terms of booking, they were just really, really solid. Maven, I'm gonna put get in the bin just because I can't remember a single match that he did. No disrespect to Maven, but I've never seen. I have no memorable matches from you in my lifetime. I'm sorry. I think this is Sabu. Is that Sabu? Either way, get in the bin just because, not because of Sabu himself, but just because Vince McMahon really dropped the ball with ECW and that whole little few months where they was getting relevant again, just to get just to get horribly managed. It was sad to see, but yeah. Who the fuck is that guy? Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin. What can I say about Shelton Benjamin? Just super, super duper athlete and was really good with technical in ring ability. And he was also a brother. So, my ranking may be a little bit biased, but you know what I'm saying? Anytime I see one of my brothers just doing a damn thing, I gotta show love. And I think I personally like Shelton Benjamin more in the world's greatest tag team than his actual solo career. And then they buried him to high hell when his mother got introduced into the into the WWE. But before that, I would put Shelton Benjamin as lovely, lovely, lovely. Booker T, goated, the five-time, five-time WCW champion, was a great addition to the WWE. And his King Booker role alone makes Booker T a go-to person. So Booker T is goated, and he has a whole lot of top tier, and he has a whole lot of top tier. Get out of here. He has a whole lot of top tier matches. So Booker T is goated. Just because I don't know who you are, I'm gonna put get in the bin. But shout out to my sisters. I didn't even know there was a black woman in the Ruthless Aggression era that was actually wrestling. I think black the only black women I remember in the WWE in the Ruthless Aggression era was Charmel and Shelton Benjamin's mom. Chris Jericho's goaded, of course. I mean, easily top tier Hall of Famer. Had great matches, great promos. Just overall a goaded wrestler. I don't remember you. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, bro. I just remember the main eventers, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is Scotty Too Hottie. Rest in peace, Scotty Too Hottie. He was a solid wrestler. He was a very solid wrestler. Him and Rakishi and I can't remember the third guy's name. I'm sorry, but yeah, he was a solid wrestler. RVD is definitely goaded. And just because he was my favorite athletic wrestler, the Rolling Thunder, the five-star frog splash, all the extreme moments that he's done in ladder matches, and just anytime there was a no holds bar type match, RVD really shined. And I really can't say much. I really can't say anything that hasn't already been said about RVD. Very, very goated. Kurt Angle. Obviously Kurt Angle is goated as well. He was literally Mr. SmackDown. Like not every big, but like a lot of the big storylines centered around Kurt Angle, and it's just because of his tremendous in-ring ability, his funny and sometimes creepy and just overall just fantastic mic work. Like when you think of the complete package when it comes to a WWE wrestler, Kurt Angle is not too far from perfection. Do 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 do. Shane McMahon. I'll put him about just about bearable. I mean, not really. I'm not really the biggest fans of the McMahons in terms of actual wrestling matches, just because they just they kind of own the company, so I don't know. That always rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. And Shane was the worst of the trio. I can't, I can't see your face. These pictures are horrible. You're not. It's just anytime I put somebody in getting a bin, it's literally just because I don't know them. I'm not calling anybody trash or anything. I've just never seen your matches, man. I'm sorry, bro. You gotta be a main eventer, bro. I don't really pay attention to jobbers. Just like this. Who is he? Okay, these next four, I do not remember them. So just go ahead, get them. And the I don't know. I mean, Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. I mean, do I even have to say anything? Do I have to say anything? Bobby Lashley. Now, Ruthless Aggression era Bobby Lashley was not peak Bobby Lashley, as later on he went on to become a future world champion and have great matches against Brock Lesnar, et cetera, et cetera. But just Ruthless Aggression Bobby alone was just all right. Eric Bischoff was a tremendous general manager. he might be the second best general manager from the Ruthless Aggression era. So he was a fantastic heel. I hated his fucking guts. He did his job very well. And we got another big guy over here. Who are you? You are. Yeah, I don't know you. I don't know you, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Just in the IDK. This IDK bin is going to be big, just because I didn't really pay attention to the jobbers that much. Hurricane Helms, aka I don't remember his name, but yeah, the Hurricane was great. He was a great. It was a great character. He wasn't never going to be the top dog, but anytime he was in a match, it was pretty fun to watch. Yeah, bro. I don't know what some of these characters, bro. Vince McMahon was tweaking. I don't know who that is. The only man to make me cry outside of my family. My number one wrestler of all time, Latino Heat, Eddie Guerrero. Just he was it, bro. He was just it. And then that WrestleMania moment with him and he who shall not be named. Hey, oh my God, he's actually on this list. That's scary. But yeah, just goaded, bro. And I'm sad that his career ended a lot earlier than it should have. But what he did was top tier. So Eddie Guerrero, go ahead, take that number one spot. Who the bro? Who the fuck are some of these guys? I don't remember you. Women's division was the ruthless aggression divas. Like outside of Trish Stratus, Tori Wilson, and Stacy Keebler, it wasn't the greatest of it wasn't the greatest of bookings of matches. A lot of the matches were forgettable in the women's division, and I put that purely on Vince McMahon instead of the women, just because of the storyline bookings weren't that great outside of Mickey James and Trish Stratus, and then it was a mess. The women's division was a mess. Mick Foley, he shined more in the Attitude Era, so I'm gonna put him as all right. But Attitude Era, Mick Foley was goaded, but just in the Ruthless Aggression Era, he wasn't really booked that well. We got a tag team on our hands. Is that the Bashams? The Bashams were just about bearable. Their characters was nah. Their characters were very just middle tier. Same with Funaki. Funaki was an okay cruiserweight, but like all the other cruiserweights were just a level or two ahead of him. So, but he did have some funny moments in there. So decent career. Rhino is all right. Okay, so in Rhino's case, he wasn't like the guy, but in most of his matches they were pretty decent matches, but just he wasn't up there with like, these guys right here. But Rhino was a solid wrestler all around though. JBL, arguably the second greatest heel on the SmackDown roster besides Kurt Angle, and his promos were god tier. And his clotheslines from Hell's, oh my God, those look so brutal. But yeah, JBL man was A plus plus. He who shall not be named. We're gonna put him up there, but we we know what happened, but like just in terms of his wrestling career, it was goaded. But that was just a sad story, bro. That was tough. That was tough. Batista. Go ahead, man. The man who put Triple H out for good, or not for good, until he came back with another run, but the man to end the reign of terror. I mean, what else can you say, bro? He was goated. Rey Mysterio, the greatest cruiserweight in WWE history, and don't at me. I don't remember you. Don't remember you. Eminem. Wow, that's a damn. These are some old shit. They were lovely. They played their insufferable character roles to a T, and they got some great matches out of that. Now that one ladder match, the one where the ladder hit I forgot the one who got hit in the face with a ladder, bro. That was brutal. That was brutal. But just in terms of tag teams, great, 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 great matches all around. Gold Dust is lovely. Now, this is a man who perfected his character to a T, and he had a lot of memorable moments in the WWE. He was a solid wrestler all around, but that whole was just it freaked me out a little bit. I was just like, okay, what is going on here? This is weird. Tommy Dreamer in the Ruthless Aggression era was just about bearable. Like his ECW work is god tier, but just in terms of WWE Ruthless Aggression era, wasn't really a big ticket name. Hulk Hogan. Kind of torn about this. I want to put him as goaded, but in the Ruthless Aggression era, it was just the old man reliving his glory days type shit. So like just a step below goaded is where I would put a Hulk Hogan. Like he still had great moments in the WWE in the early to mid 2000s, but yeah, just one step below goaded. I feel is warranted. The Big Show is goaded. This is the Big Show who this is the Big Show who is huh. Hope I don't have water. I guess I'm doing this dry. So Big Show had an amazing tag team run with Kane. Was always one of the top guys in the main event cards, and he did his role as the immovable object to a T. And he rightfully so got world champions, tag team championships. I think he got a couple US US title reigns. I may be wrong on that, but I do think that Big Show did get some US titles. But yeah, just a very, very solid wrestler for how big he was. Randy Orton, I mean, do I even gotta say it? Do I even gotta say it? Brock Lesnar was goaded as well, youngest champion of all time. And his athletic ability in the Ruthless Aggression era is something that doesn't get talked about a lot, but he was very, very fast for how big he was. And all of his matches, especially ones with like John Cena and The Rock. Like Brock Lesnar did a lot for the company and he got pushed to the fucking moon and he deserved it. Ooh, Chavo. I'll put him as lovely as well. Um he was he wasn't like super top guy, but there were moments where he was at the top for for a little minute, and all of his matches were really solid, and him and any storyline with him and Eddie Guerrero and it was great, but just one step below goated, I feel is correct for Chavo Guerrero. Animal, I don't remember his ruthless aggression era matches, but as I said with like Sabu or Tommy Dreamer or like anybody who was really that guy back in the day, like in the ruthless aggression era, they they weren't booked like they would in the 80s and the 90s, but definitely one of the greatest tag teams in WWE history. Scott Steiner. Scott Steiner. Scott Steiner. I'll put him one step below goaded. Same with Chavo, you know, he was very, very great at what he did, but for him to be the top dog, like look at all these guys in the goaded. Scott Steiner wasn't up there, but he was still a very, very great wrestler. Who the fuck is this mean looking motherfucker right here? Jamie Noble. Fucking hell, Jamie Noble. Just about bearable, man. Fantastic jobber, but I feel like the storylines just weren't in his favor at all. Who the fuck is this guy? Oh, is that Chris Masters? Oh, it's Chris Masters. All right, so Chris Masters. Let's put him at lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Fantastic wrestler. And that whole Master Lock Challenge series was great as well. And he was booked very well. But again, like when you mention like the top dogs in the industry, Scott Steiner's not up there, but he's a very, very solid wrestler, Hall of Famer indeed. I don't remember you, so you just now this is actually the only guy that I'm actually gonna put and get in the bin and actually mean it. He's just was very, very he was a very forgettable wrestler, this guy. Don't know you. Uh don't know you. Again, they did a terrible job with the women's division in the Ruthless Aggression era, so this is not an insult to you, but an insult to Vince and his booking capabilities in the women's division. This guy is forgettable, and that guy's forgettable as well. So boom and boom. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Go ahead. Just go ahead. Just go ahead. Go up there. I don't feel like I need to explain my reasoning for this. So we'll just move on from here. You are very forgettable. The Boogeyman was all right. I've never met a man who would put living worms in his mouth and then spread them over people till I met the Boogeyman. Very good horror character, but again, he wasn't pushed like all of these guys up here. So, all right, I feel is the perfect spot for the Boogeyman. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't great. Vince McMahon was all right as well. Just the super insane boss who wants to control every aspect of the WWE was a fantastic character because it was kind of a play on his actual in real life character, in real life person. So, all right for Vince McMahon, had some great matches, but I mean, he's the CEO, so can't really expect much from him in the ring. Forgettable. Jeff Hardy's goaded. Him and Matt Hardy don't get the credit they deserve. They are arguably a top five tag team in wrestling entertainment history, and Jeff Hardy in particular was really great with the stunts. Rikishi. Again, just never got the big push that he deserved, but he was still a very, very solid WWE superstar. Eugene was all right as hmm. I'll put his character as just about bearable. It was a weird booking. It was just a really weird booking for a mentally unstable person. He did the best that he could with it, but it just wasn't a good character. Trish Stratus, unlike the other WWE, unlike the other WWE divas, she got the bookings that she deserved, and she took her ball and ran with it, and had some very, very great matches. Kane's goaded as well, so I mean, sorry about that. Kane is goaded, very, very great wrestler. Probably in my top 10. And Ruthless Aggression Kane really shined, especially when he got his mask took off and he was going after RVD, to a lot of the memorable matches with him and The Undertaker. Like, Kane is literally just goaded as a WWE superstar. E- Eric Bischoff again. I mean, I guess I just put him neck and neck. I mean, not really much change from old Eric to new Eric. So, I mean, who is that? Christian? That is Christian. So Christian, I'm gonna put at Lovely. His other Canadian brethren is obviously goaded, but Christian as a superstar, I didn't really get to see him. I didn't get to see him as much as I wanted to, but every time I did see Christian, he was a very solid in-ring performer and he did great promos. So, but again, like, this is top dog territory, and Christian is just knocking on the door. Don't know who you are, so just boom, just who is that? Lita? Lita is lovely. One of the few WWE divas who got their shine and was a very solid was a very solid booking in any storyline that she was in. Wish she worked on her in-ring talent a little bit more, but still, lovely is a perfect spot for Lita. Test. All right. Don't I don't remember too much of Test, but the few matches that I do remember him, he was all right. So yeah, just all right. Test all right. Forgettable. Cody Rhodes, Ruthless Aggression. Cody Rhodes was just about bearable. Obviously, he went to AEW and then came back as the American Nightmare. But in terms of just Ruthless Aggression, Cody Rhodes was just all right. So feel very comfortable putting him in just about bearable. Bubba Ray Dudley. In terms of solo superstar status, I wouldn't put him as the best, but a lot of his booking was with Devon, and we know get the tables and like, yeah, he's goaded. Edge is probably the wrestler that I hated the most in the Ruthless Aggression era. So that means he did his job very, very damn well. Like he was probably the best heel in the Ruthless Aggression era. And yeah, I'm glad Edge got to wrestle after the whole neck thing as well. And he is definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer if he's not in the Hall of Fame already. Forgettable. The Great Khali. If his in-ring performance was better, I would have no issues with putting him at lovely, lovely, lovely. But he just had a lot of stiff spots that I remember. And outside of the Punjabi prison match that he had with Batista, just not really a top tier guy. But he was still a solid wrestler, Hall of Famer, and follow the Great Khali on TikTok because that man, that man is great. Now, Umaga could have been goaded. Oh, first of all, rest in peace, Umaga. But like your character was a fantastic, mentally unstable heel, and that and that Samoan Spike dog, that Samoan Spike looked fucking nasty. But again, like when it comes to top dog entertainment, it's a very, very small circle, and Umaga is just on the outside of it. Who the fuck are y'all? Forgettable. Is that William Regal? That is William Regal. So William Regal was the greatest lovely heel. Again, I can't put him in top dog territory because he wasn't like top dog, but he was a fantastic heel and he played that insufferable British a-hole to a T. I mean, a lot of people didn't like the Reign of Terror. I liked it just for the Evolution storyline. The Evolution storyline is probably top three greatest storylines in WWE Ruthless Aggression era history. So Triple H obviously was the top of top dogs. So let me actually, I'm not ranking these people, but like just people who are just at the top, I have to put them at the top. You know what I'm saying? And Triple H was definitely Mr. Raw. Jimmy Wang Yang. Yeah, just all right. Just all right. Just the cruiserweight division wasn't really, it wasn't promoted the way it should have been promoted, but there was Jimmy Wang Yang was a solid cruiserweight, but I can't put him in lovely. Same with Tajiri. Tajiri actually had some great matches and great bookings, but just in terms of like actual wrestling ability and storylines, he lacks he lacks compared to these guys up here. So putting Tajiri is all right. It just makes sense. Matt Morgan, huh? Just about bearable. Shout out to him for actually he actually saw my granny in the subway one time and and he was just the nicest guy to granny. She had nothing but nice words to say about him and he wasn't really that memorable, but shout out to you for conversing with my granny. Carlito, I spit in the face of those of people who don't like to be cool. Lovely. Nowhere near top dog, but still a solid in-ring character and solid storylines all around. And that disrespectful spit in the face is iconic. Uh, now, Tori Wilson. I'm putting her goaded just because of the whole sex symbol thing, or can I call Tori Wilson? Can I call Tori Wilson a sex symbol? Is that degrading to women? I don't know in this. I don't know in this climate in this day and age, but just a very solid, very solid eye candy wrestler, and she played her role to a T. Fit Finlay. I'll put him at lovely as well. Actually, I'll put him at right there before right there before Hulk Hogan. Finley Finley was a very, very, very solid wrestler and was pretty decent on the mic too. If his mic abilities was like up there, I would have no problem putting him with the best. But in terms of a wrestling career, still Hall of Fame worthy, still still one of the top guys, but not a top dog. Hardcore Holly, lovely. Um, Hardcore Holly, very, very solid wrestler, pretty decent mic skills. Was a little heavy-handed, was a little heavy-handed in matches, but overall a great character nonetheless. I, bro, whoever posted these pictures, like I don't even. I'm assuming that's Jamie Noble's girlfriend, which would make her just about bearable. Again, the women didn't really get to shine in the ruthless aggression era. It was mostly the men. And I don't remember if she was actually in matches or not, but yeah, just like an eye character. Matt Hardy is lovely. He was not as good as Jeff Hardy. No offense to Matt Hardy, of course, but Jeff was literally just different. And Matt Hardy was really solid too. His storyline with Edge and Lita, that was crazy. I give him a lot of props for rolling with the storyline, but man, that's got to be brutal. Forgettable. Who is this guy? This guy is, well, he got a title, but I don't remember. Mark Henry. Mark Henry. Hmm. Again, shout out to all my brothers who made it in the WWE. They didn't do him justice with booking until the Hall of Pain came through, and that was much later in his career. But in terms of just ruthless aggression era, just a solid wrestler, but didn't really get his time to shine. I believe that is Mr. Kennedy. Kennedy. Lovely. Definitely, definitely lovely. Again, solid wrestler, great mic work, but just not top dog territory. But he was still a very, very solid wrestler. Charlie Haas. I'm gonna put Charlie Haas at lovely, mainly because I loved him and Shelton Benjamin together. And a lot of his matches were enjoyable and entertaining. But again, when it comes to that top dog territory, like these are household names. And Charlie Haas, I wouldn't say. Actually, I'm gonna put him next to Shelton Benjamin, poetic justice, but like just not household name level, but still very very great at what he did. Just about bearable. Yeah, just about bearable. Ruthless aggression era Ric Flair. This is one of Triple H's greatest accomplishments in making Ric Flair be Ric Flair because he in real life didn't really believe in himself during this time. He had a lot of uncertainty, and Triple H just sat him down and said, "Yo, you're Ric Flair. Let's work with this evolution storyline, and make some history. And actually, I'm gonna put Ric Flair at lovely because he had very, very great matches. And obviously, Ric Flair on a microphone is top tier. But again, his greatest moments were in the 80s and the 90s, so not up here, but like overall, Ric Flair's goated. Victoria. Yeah, her and I'm gonna put her at lovely just because her and Paige. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Who is this guy? This guy is wait, hold on, what? Ain't that Mr. Kennedy's? Hold on, what? Bro, whoever did this needs to slap themselves. But I mean, Mr. Kennedy, the Spirit Squad. Lovely. Dolph Ziggler's rebrand was one of the greatest rebrands in WWE history. Quiet as kept. But the Spirit Squad as a whole was a very solid tag team. And they had some great matches. But again, when it comes to top dog, like these people, when you think of WWE, you know their names. The Spirit Squad was a couple levels below that, but still very, very solid in ring talent. Don't know you, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. I will refrain from ranking just because, again, like with the other ones like Ric Flair and Triple H, Stone Cold Steve Austin, a lot of their shine was right before the Ruthless Aggression era, so they didn't get booked heavily enough. So I'll refrain from ranking them. The Rock, goated. That if I had to explain why The Rock is in this category to you, what are you doing? CM Punk. Now, this one, I'm gonna put him at lovely, just because CM Punk didn't really shine until the PG era, but he still had great matches in the Ruthless Aggression era. And like CM Punk right before he went to the UFC is not the CM Punk who came back. But the straight edge thing, it was kind of cringe, but he worked with it and was able to turn himself into a top dog, but just not in the Ruthless Aggression era. Billy Kidman. This one I'm ranking with my heart. He doesn't belong here, but just because he's my favorite cruiserweight of all time, I gotta put him in goaded. But yeah, this is purely off of emotion. So Billy Kidman, where the hell did he go? Yeah, Billy Kidman, goaded just because he's my favorite cruiserweight of all time. Not like if I'm being objective, he would probably be all right, but like I'm ranking this one with my heart. So Billy Kidman, goaded. A Train. Again, A Train, I would group him with Tajiri and Mark Henry and Crime Time. Like very solid wrestler, just didn't get booked, just didn't get booked properly. Goldberg, lovely. Like outside of that Brock Lesnar WrestleMania mishap, Bill Goldberg's career was lovely in the WWE. Who is that? Ratty Ratty. All right, and we back. Ratty Piper in the ruthless aggression era. It was more of his out of the ring work that puts him in here than his actual in ring work. just because like with Ric Flair and others, his shine was in the 90s and 80s. So, but his character just in the ruthless aggression era, I got to put him at lovely. I can't put him in goated territory. Rosie, again, rest in peace. And him is just about bearable. His work, he did have some memorable work with the Hurricane, but outside of that, just not his Umaga character. So putting him at just about bearable, I feel, is the correct choice. Brother D, again, like with Bubba Ray Dudley as a solo star, I would put him at all right, but his work with Bubba Ray Dudley really shined in the Ruthless Aggression era and the Attitude era, and they've made classic matches together. So actually, let me put these two together. Actually, yeah. So these two together, goated outside of like their solo career in the Ruthless Aggression era would have just been at a lovely, but the Dudley boys, goated. I believe that's Tyson Tomko and just about bearable. Just yeah. This guy was just about bearable as well. Something Jordan wasn't very memorable in the Ruthless Aggression era. But again, you always love to see your brothers. You always love to see your brothers in that WWE ring. But just about bearable is the correct choice for him. Again, Vince really dropped the ball with the women's division. I don't know who that is. I forgot their name, but them as a tag team was all right. Like they had really solid work, but just all right. Same with Snitsky. Snitsky was never able to get out of that mid card slump, but still a solid wrestler all around. John Cena, the Doctor of Thugonomics. God damn it, will you stop? The Doctor of Thugonomics was actually, let me put him there. He was top dog. He was top dog. I'll put him right below Triple. I'm gonna put him ahead of Triple H. But yeah, John Cena, Ruthless Aggression era, Doctor of Thugonomics, great. Went into ECW as a heel, and his ability to handle that ECW crowd was amazing. Like, I remember he was trying to he tried to throw his shirt into the crowd, and they kept throwing it back in the ring. Like, god damn, the ECW really hated John Cena, man. But yeah, Doctor Thugonomics, definitely a household name in the Ruthless Aggression era. Rest in peace, Big Viscera. He was an alright character in the WWE division. I believe he really shined in the Ministry of Darkness, but obviously that wasn't around for the Ruthless Aggression era, so I had to put you at alright. Alright. And I mean, do I even have to say it? Do I even have to say it like before John Cena? Yeah. I feel like I don't have to explain why the Undertaker's here because you already know his ability to just be the guy in what was it like 30 years? For 30 years he was one of the top dogs in damn near every every iteration of the WWE from the 80s all the way up till 2010s. So yeah, Undertaker, I ain't even gotta say it, bro. I ain't what what needs to be explained and what doesn't. And Undertaker is in the ladder. So here's my rankings, and just for content's sake, I will rank the best from one till whatever. So number one, Eddie Guerrero. Number two, Undertaker. Number three, John Cena. Number 4, Triple H. Number 5 is actually Kurt Angle. Number 6, Booker T. Number 7, Chris Jericho. RVD is lower, so let me put him out there. Actually, I'll put Shawn Michaels before Chris Jericho. I'll put JBL before Chris Jericho. I'll put He Who Shall Not Be Named in front of Chris Jericho. Batista in front of Chris Jericho. Rey Mysterio in front of Chris Jericho. And I think that's... No, Randy Orton. Randy Orton before Chris Jericho. I'm sorry, Chris Jericho. But yeah, so boom. These guys, Chris Jericho, Brock Lesnar's before the big show. Stone Cold wasn't really that Stone Cold wasn't really around for the ruthless aggression era for a while, but for what he was, I will put him right after the big show. Kane, I will put in front of Jeff Hardy. Edge, I will put in front of Jeff Hardy. The women, I'm not a misogynist, but yeah, the women's division did not get their shine. Like I said previously throughout this whole entire video, The Rock before Jeff Hardy, Billy Kidman right there. Yeah, I believe it's correct. So the best is in alphabet is in numerical order from 1 all the way down. I just can't be bothered to rank the lovelies just because it might get a little disrespectful. The alrights. You ain't gotta rank them because they alright. Alright. Just about bearable. Yeah, I wouldn't move anybody. This is my ruthless aggression era list. And like I said, the get in the bin is I'm not calling these guys trash. I just really don't remember them. But yeah, I think this is a pretty solid list. Tell me what you think. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. And as always, may blessings continue to rain down on you and yours. I'm out.